Hey guys, yes, it is fairly dark in here at the moment, and there isn't really a whole lot I can do about that right now, so if you can't see my face, I apologise. But yeah, as I said, there isn't really a lot that I can do about that right now. I know I haven't made a video for a month. I can explain why. There's been a heat wave here in Australia, in Victoria. I actually tried to make one video a couple of weeks ago, but I heard the processor straining like anything because of the heat, and so I immediately stopped encoding and haven't tried to make another one since. The main reason why I'm making one at the moment is because Sean McLean or Zaran Isaac tagged me to take part in the 5 facts about yourself sort of chain video that's been going around. So yeah, I'm going to give you a couple of facts about myself. You're probably noticing that my hair is even longer and probably even actually worse looking than the last time you saw me. I do need to get it cut. I think the reason why I've refrained from getting it cut at the moment is because it's also actually in the process of falling out. I'm going bald on the top of my head, and so I think I'm actually basically as I said to someone earlier this morning, trying to enjoy it basically before I lose it pretty much for good. So yeah, I know I probably don't look that great. There's not really anything I can say about that. Anyway, fact number 5. I have a level 70 orc female hunter on the Thorasan server of World of Warcraft called Mershalak. I also have a blog up about her at mershwow.blogspot.com, and I'll put that in the side of the video. I think it'll be on that side when I've finished making it. Yeah, because of course I get reflected back with this camera, so yeah, it's that side. Yeah, and WoW, actually playing a hunter in WoW is the closest that I've ever really got to being interested in any form of sport. I mean, it isn't a real physical sport, I know that, but being a hunter in WoW is as close as I've ever got to that. I was never good physically as a child, so it's been really good for me in terms of giving me some form of vaguely competitive activity in that sense. Fact number 4. I'm someone who apparently people tend to find rather scary. There was someone, and some of the other facts that I'm going to give you probably aren't really going to help to dispel that, but there was one guy recently who responded to one of my comments on YouTube on someone else's video and called me quote unquote dark-souled. And I really don't understand why people have that impression of me. I mean, I don't know. I just do what I do, you know. I mean, maybe it's the hair, maybe it's the beard. Yeah, maybe it is a couple of the recent videos. I don't go out of my way to be... I'm not a goth. I don't go out of my way to be intentionally nihilistic. So, you know, I mean, if people get that impression, well, I guess that's just me. Of course, the fact that I'm up at 5:30 in the morning and I've been up since midnight, would probably sort of tend to reinforce that stereotype. But anyway, believe what you will. I actually love garlic, by the way, so yeah, that sort of dispels one element of it anyway, hopefully. Okay, so that was fact number 4. Fact number 3 is basically leading on from fact number 4. When I was a child, in terms of possibly why I am a bit scary and why I do come across as a bit disturbed, when I was a child and at various times, even right up until the present, I've at times had some unusual experiences. I guess to a degree you could basically say, yeah, you could really call it interaction with spirits, basically. Ghosts, to some extent. I mean, I know that probably sounds bizarre, but one thing was when I was a lot younger, I'd be lying in bed at night and I'd get this whispering sort of right outside my bedroom door, as well as the running of what sounded like I wouldn't know how many sort of feet. And the moment my feet hit the bedroom floor, in order to go and see what it was, it would stop. And basically the moment I got back into bed, it would immediately start up again. I'd also get things like feeling as though my bed was being jumped on by a cat or something of similar size. And I've also had a couple of dreams, actually fairly recently, which basically dealt with the apparent cause of death of a couple of different people. And essentially what I think a lot of it is I don't know how many people here have seen the film The Sixth Sense, and I really don't want to brag about this, but I think to a degree I've basically had, to a somewhat milder extent anyway, some of the same sort of stuff going on in my own life, where I've basically just had, things like that bothering me. It hasn't happened so much recently, but certainly in the past, it's always been a fairly big thing for me. And I mean, it's interesting because I get a lot of atheists saying, well, if I saw something with my own eyes, then I'd believe it. Well, guys, that's why I believe it, because I have experienced it. So, I mean, I'm not trying to convert anyone to anything, but so that was fact number 3. Fact number 2 also relates to that. I've recently been trying to research some ways in which, when other people basically have those sorts of problems, my roommate actually did in a room, when he actually rented this room, the spare room, or started renting this room, the spare room just over from me, a week or so ago. He had whispering and feeling as though he was being pulled out of bed at one point. And so I've basically been doing some research on how to get rid of that. It's interesting because when I was a child, in order to try and find out, I think, sort of what was going on, I ended up reading quite a lot about ghosts. And then there was a period, it would have been, I would say, probably about 12 years ago, where I actually stopped, the interest in ghosts basically stopped that I'd had as a child, and I started focusing on other things. However, just fairly recently, I've had, by way of YouTube, I've basically had a reintroduction into my own life of this particular symbol, and everything basically that is associated with that for me. I used to love the real Ghostbusters cartoons as a kid. Egon Spengler was probably actually one of my biggest role models as a young child. And yeah, so that's basically something that's happened, and it's made me realise, obviously you can't make a career out of it. I'm going to need a day job doing something else, but I want to try and find some people who've had this sort of problem. I know that, because everyone's becoming as atheistic as they are now, a lot of the time when kids or other people have this sort of problem at night when they're basically molested by something like that, no one believes it. No one believes it. They just think it's crazy. They just think it's insane. Atheists basically wipe it off as some sort of delusion. Christians are likely to think that you've sort of got really, really severe spiritual problems. And basically what I've wanted to do is look for ways to essentially eradicate or remove these sorts of entities when they start bothering people. And I've been looking into that, and I think certainly with my housemate, I was actually already able to help him the other night because he says he hasn't had any more disturbances. So that's going to be something else basically that I'm going to be looking into. Okay, so that was fact number 2. Fact number 1. What's fact number 1? What is fact number 1? Fact number 1 is, well, I already really mentioned it, but yes, I have just had a housemate move in, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't also been active. I also haven't been active on YouTube. One of the other reasons recently, because I've had to sort of do some things associated with that, and also I'm really in the process of trying to get a bit more of an offline life this year. I don't know how that's going to go yet, but hopefully it's going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to stop this now and upload it, and I'll talk to everyone soon.